Yeah, I think he is done.
Yes, yes, I am.
Yes, sir. So glad you're able to make it, Bob. You started this whole thing. You set this up. Why did you set this meeting up?
Well, because there was a need for it. I wanted to, get some information out to, people that I, know, love, and people I care about. So, I think it's important the information that we have. Just can't be sitting on it. So, based on that, we decided that we really should do something. And of course, this evening, or usually Friday evening, sometimes convenient for some people, are much more convenient. So, hence the meeting.
Very
And
good.
of course, I know you have a lot to share. So,
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you very much, and I'm sure that everybody who's here appreciates your extending the invitation to them. I know it's going to be beneficial to them. I've known Bob for a long time, so if he invited you to this meeting, it's because he really does care about you. And this is called a VIP, virtual in-person presentation. And anyone who has a group that they would like to have somewhat of a private meeting, you're more than welcome to try to arrange for one of those, particularly for people that you care about. And we normally have our regular meetings on Sundays around 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And anyone is welcome to come to those. So we will often do that in conjunction with Dr. Prasad and providing just general information about the natural ways that you can improve your health. And depending on what the national awareness subject is, that's what we'll be talking about on Sundays. So this entire month was a National Stress Awareness Month. If you'd like to hear those recordings, you're welcome to go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jonathan Jones, and you can get part one and part two of the discussions on stress awareness. You'd be amazed that there's documented, recorded connection to 120,000 work-related deaths every year associated with stress. And so we were talking about how to ameliorate that, how to mitigate the impact of that for most of this entire month. But when Bob and his sister, I guess it really started with your sister, Bob, Beulah, and some of her friends decided that they wanted to arrange for a little bit of a discussion for folks that they cared about, that she cared about. She reached out to her brother Bob and said, "Bob, I need you to do a presentation." Bob says, "Hey, Jonathan, what can we do?" And so we're more than happy to facilitate that. So you can kind of see it's a little bit of a more of an impromptu and an informal meeting. So that means that I'll open the floor to questions, and you can raise your hand even during the discussion if something is not clear. The whole discussion is being recorded right now. It's being live streamed on YouTube. So if you have something that you don't want the world to know, then don't say it. If you don't want to be seen all around the world, don't turn your camera on. But we do appreciate it that if you do want to say something, we invite you to turn your camera on and be a part of the discussion, and happy to facilitate a discussion with you on any level right now. Okay, so the door is open. I've given the invitation so that you can do that tonight. We will be doing another presentation, another VIP presentation at 9 p.m., 9:30 tonight. So this evening is a bunch of VIP presentations, and that's designed for folks on the West Coast of the United States. So San Jose, California is where it's originating from. So, but we'll be happy to, you're invited to come to that too if you'd like to. We'll share the invitation information there in the chat. Maybe toward the end of our discussion, we'll put it on the screen so you can take a screenshot of it. And then that way you can invite guests to that too, if you would like to. In fact, if someone here right now has that invitation, could you please go ahead and post it in the chat so that anyone can now extend invitation to those that they care about over on the West Coast to attend that 9:30 meeting for this evening. Okay, so for the record, my name is Jonathan Jones. It's my privilege to be your host and moderator for the evening. Who am I? I'm not a doctor. Let's get that real clear. I am the research director for the Healthcare Support Association of America. The Healthcare Support Association of America is a small nonprofit organization. And our goal, my wife and I established it. It started out as a cellular health foundation back in 2021 or so. That was right around the time that my mother died. And it changed the entire trajectory of my life because my background is computer electronics and engineering.
Yeah, I did. I had some yesterday.
My background is
It went
computer
fine.
electronics
It went fine.
and engineering. And yeah, I just muted everybody so you can still be able to unmute yourselves if you'd like. My background is computer electronics and engineering. But when I stood there watching my mother connected to all kinds of equipment in the emergency room and intensive care, not emergency room, intensive care. And I asked the intensive care nurse, what are you doing for my mom? She said, we're monitoring her very closely. And I said to myself, well, I'm doing that. But then I said, well, but what are you doing? Okay, I understand you're monitoring her, but what are you doing to change her outcome, to make her better? The woman said to me, and I will never forget it because the look in her eyes haunts me to this day, when she said, to be honest with you, Jonathan, we're praying for her immune system to kick in. And it's like someone had taken a sledgehammer to a Empire State Building size pane of glass and shattered it, and it all came crashing down all at once. So that was life-changing for me. I realized at that moment I was in the wrong line of work. So I was done. I was done with computer electronics because I realized at that moment that I could not have engineered any piece of equipment that would have extended my mother's life, not 1 minute, let alone change the outcome of what was going to happen to her. I never thought through the process that my mother could die. Her mother was still alive. And sure enough, my mother would not live to see another day. That was the day. So, but it was at that moment that I said, because, I mean, think about it. And you all may even be familiar with the same story. And my story may not be unique at all. But the insurance company was paying them $10,000 a day for my mother and my mother's care. $10,000 a day, and they didn't have an immune system kicker in her? You're the hospital. You don't have one of those? I knew exactly where to find one. In fact, I had 2 boxes of it in my mom's house, in her closet. But she kept saying, I got to check with my doctor first. I got to check with my doctor first. But I didn't know enough at that time to get past that objection. But I vowed that I'd never be in that situation again where I would not know enough to be able to tell someone that I cared about how to alter their immune system and how to kick it in and how to make it do what it's designed to do. I know how to do that now. And so I've since become a health educator, in addition to the decades of research I've done. There's a gentleman by the name of Jeff Ashby that a friend of mine sent to my house. And Jeff's on this meeting right now. And Jeff was the one who invented these VIPs, by the way. And I'm going to just talk to Jeff for just a minute, if you guys don't mind. Because back then, Jeff, thank you, welcome. For some reason, I didn't hear you, Jeff. I don't know if everybody else heard you or not, but I didn't hear you. So can we do a sound check on Jeff?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
There we go.
All right.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. I had all kinds of phenomenal products because in addition to being determined never to be in that situation again, I also happened to have a wife that had a compromised immune system, and she was allergic to everything. I mean, she developed allergies. Initially, it was just allergies to dairy. Then it was allergies to corn, allergies to wheat, allergy. She got allergic to me, so, and that, of course, turned out to be chemicals and whatever I was wearing, anything that was on me. So I had to go hyperallergenic. So as I'm searching around trying to find things to shut down or calm down her immune system, I had some great things. And so when Irene calls me up and says, Jonathan, there's this couple in town from Utah that have this vitamin and you should talk to them. And I'm embarrassed to say what I said, but I said, Irene, thank you very much, but I don't need the vitamin. I got what I need. Thank you. I don't want to meet them. I don't have time. And she went on and on and on and on and on about this phenomenal couple from Utah. And I said, my God, what is up with this woman? But what got me was she was the one who had recommended an environmental control product that turned my wife's atmosphere all around innocuous to her. She knocked it out the park with that recommendation. So I could spray myself down. Joanna wasn't allergic to me. I could spray a rental car down. She wasn't allergic. I could spray everything down and she was no reactions. Because she had made that recommendation, I said, okay, Irene, you tell that couple I got 20 minutes, and I mean 19 minutes at the door. And I'll talk to them, but 20 minutes is it. So I'm going to stop talking now, Jeff.
Well, I can remember knocking on Jonathan's door, and while we were waiting for him to come, we look over and the home that he was in at that point had these storm covers that you could cover over the windows. So when the hurricanes come in, and Helen and I look at each other and went, man, this isn't Kansas anymore, baby. We're talking this is hurricane area with these storm windows, and yeah, then you come to the door. And you're right. I mean, it's like the only reason that you're here is because Irene suggested that I let you in. But I've got 20 minutes. I'm super busy right now, and you you invited us in. We walked right past the couch and the coffee table. We went right into your kitchen table, and you said we're gonna take advantage of the time that we have. And you looked at your watch again, and then here we go. Here we go. And we started talking about something that must have really hit home. And in fact, we even detailed it out. It's patent number 7605145. And we had a little pamphlet, patent number 7605145. Who had heard about that one before? Yeah, actually reads micronutrient formulations for the treatment of diabetes mellitus. Yeah, October of 2009. That was issued to Dr. Kedar Prasad, and that's when you pretty much just jerked us up short. We couldn't go anywhere with the rest of the presentation. You wanted to find out about that patent.
Because that patent took me back to the emergency room. That patent, no, intensive care, took me back to the day my mother died. That patent meant that in a little bottle, in a little blister pack, was an immune system kicker in her that the intensive care nurse and the doctors claimed they couldn't find. And that was game changer. Game changer. So instead of 20 minutes, I went back to the door. I deadbolt locked it and took the key out. And now I wouldn't let him go for 2 hours because I needed to know about this stuff that had this patent for treatment of diabetes. And Jeff, I can't thank you and Helen enough for pushing past my stone wall and being savvy enough and persistent enough to make sure I had the information. Now, I have to tell you guys what Jeff did. He asked me a question. Do you remember the question you asked me about?
Yeah. It says, who Who in your circle of influence would most benefit from receiving some of these products if we were to mail them out today?
I said, who wouldn't? He says, well, do you know a few people? I said, I can tell you 4 or 5 names off the top of my head. And they packed express mail envelopes on the spot, and they express mailed to at least 4 people. And my sister-in-law, and a couple other people. And they all had the same response, which that was done. I was done at that point. I was done. They all said the same thing. My fasting sugar levels have never been this low in the morning. And so that changed everything.
Yeah, one of the ladies out of, I believe it's New York, somewhere on the East
Boston.
Coast, Boston, okay, called us, and it was like 10 days, 2 weeks later, we were now in California. Because by the time she got the product, she gets on the product, she called Helen because we'd left a little note inside there. It says if you have any questions, we knew you couldn't answer them at that point, and so call us. And she called us at at what would have been 7 a.m. when she arose in Boston, and it was 4 a.m. on Helen's phone in California when she called up, just almost in tears, saying, uh, "This is amazing. I just had to call out and say thank you again for trusting." And I don't know, is she your sister-in-law?
My
Anyway,
sister-in-law.
sister-in-law, thank you again for trusting us enough to send this to us because it's changed my life.
Well, it's a beautiful thing. And I just saw her. We just left Boston, and she's still taking microdaily to this day. My sister is still taking microdaily to this day. My sister just sent me a text. She's in Albany, Georgia, and she says, "I've got great news about my health. I have to call me when you get a chance." So yet again, something else has changed. By the way, she's lost 82 pounds in the past year, and so she is determined that she does not want to go through the same outcome that our mother went through. And she's working to stay alive, and she's doing a pretty good job. Right now, we are both older than my mother was when she died. So mission accomplished, Jeff. Thank you very much. You're a good man. Good man. Appreciate it. And I'm going to bring you back up in a little bit, so if you don't mind. And I'm hoping that we can share some, if you've got a testimonial or two that you might want to share with these folks, because many of these folks that are on here now have never heard anything about micro dailies. So I'm going to give them a little bit of a presentation that you've taught me and some doctors have taught me. And if you don't mind sharing a testimonial, I'd appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you, sir. So that's the gentleman that opened my eyes and has made a huge impact on my family's life, and now hundreds and probably thousands of other people connected to me, not to mention the thousands of people connected to him and to this company. And if you want your life to change, and if you care about someone important in your life, then this presentation may be of some value to you, and I believe it will. I'm going to just take you through a brief presentation that Dolores Levatt and Joyce Morris asked me to do for groups for them. Joyce Morris lives in Central Florida, and she requested this presentation. And Dolores Levatt lives in Albany, Georgia, and she requested this presentation to a group. And I'm going to get through an abbreviated version of it, if you guys don't mind, because of just for the sake of time. And as I told you, this is an informal meeting. It's an informal meeting, and it was intended to be just a few people. And somehow another 40-some people are on here now. We got 40-something connections. So, but it's still the same. If you want to interrupt, you got a question, you can just ask your question. Raise your hand, and get the attention of one of the co-hosts, and they can stop me, and we'll talk about that. We'll go in the direction that you want to go in right now. Especially Bob, if you want to change the direction of something, particularly for your guests, feel free to change the direction. Okay. So this was the presentation. It was all about getting a better outcome, having to do with cancer. And you see the topic is, are you concerned about cancer? And then this seminar was about getting a better outcome. Notice that we're not talking about the cure for cancer. And that particular month happened to be Cancer Awareness Month. So, and the reason why it's not saying anything about curing cancer is because, disclaimer, please, the FDA has not evaluated these statements. You're going to be hearing testimonials. They're purely anecdotal. Results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. So neither the Healthcare Support Association of America, Engage Global, Jonathan Jones, Dr. Prasad, Jeff Ashby, Bob Evans, none of the authorized representatives are making any claims that supplements that we talk about will treat or cure any disease state. You heard Jeff quote to you the title of the patent, the US patent that was given to military micronutrient formula, the MMF product, the forerunner of the microdaily product, the micronutrients. He didn't say that microdaily would cure or treat diabetes. He simply stated the title of the patent. And that's what we can by law tell you. We can tell you science and we can tell you the names of patents, but we can't make you believe that these products will treat or cure any disease. So this presentation is for information and educational purposes only. It's not intended to be a substitute for a visit to your doctor. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent advice of professionals that you trust. I am not a doctor. I repeat what I said at the beginning. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm the research director for the Healthcare Support Association of America. I am a health educator. This information will make a difference for you if you are looking for something that could make a difference for someone in your life or in your family's life. Statistically, a fact. Over 2 million new cancer cases are expected to be diagnosed in the United States this year. Statistical fact. Approximately 618,120 people are projected to die from cancer. That's about 1,700 deaths per day. And that's number right there should be quite sobering to you, because how many of you, just raise your hand, please, your digital hand. How many of you remember where you were on 9/11? How many? How many remember where you were on 9/11? I remember exactly where I was. I can almost tell you the address because I was doing some volunteer work and I was on Sunrise Boulevard. I was right around 20th Avenue, the 7-Eleven. I was parked right in the parking lot at 7-Eleven on September 11th, 2001. Never forget it. My friend came out. He saw something on television inside the store. He said the World Trade Center has been hit. And that meant a great deal to me because I had just been in the World Trade Center 6 weeks before that day. Never will forget it. But I was on that day that about 3,500, 4,000 people died that day. So statistically, there's a 9/11 every 2 days, and you never hear a word about it. A 9/11 every 2 days from cancer, and we never hear a word about it. But it's affecting everybody. The most common cancers in women are breast cancer, and that's followed closely on the heels by bronchial or lung cancer, and that's followed closely on the heels of colorectal cancer. It's not much different in men, to be quite honest with you. In fact, the number 2 is lung cancer, and the number 3 is colorectal cancer in men. So there's almost exactly the same, except that the number 1 form of cancer in men is prostate cancer. So cancer is indiscriminate, doesn't care, male or female, is trying to take us out. To this day, there's 605,213 deaths per year. This is from the CDC's website. This is just a screenshot from the CDC's website. The number 2 cause of death in the United States alone. Number 2. And interesting, at the time that I took the screenshot, COVID was number 3. And they've since changed that. COVID is not number 3. In fact, you know what? I'm not sure what number 3 is anymore. But you notice what number 4 is. Number 4 is accidents. Now, this may sound a little macabre, and I'm sorry, but I have to tell you this. It used to say iatrogenics, but people figured out what iatrogenics meant. Iatrogenics is medical mistakes. and not medical mistakes, as in you went to the cabinet and you took out Tylenol instead of Motrin, or you took the wrong medication, not that you did it. This was mistakes, medical mistakes by the medical system. In other words, some refer to it as death by doctor. This is a person who did exactly what their doctors told them to do. They did exactly what the medical system told them to do, and they died because of an accident. The number 3, or on this list, the number 4 leading cause of death. So they changed it because people figured out that meant death by doctor or death by the medical system. In other words, number 1 and number 2 were causing number 4. So if you want to stay off of number 4, stay out of the medical system. Don't get heart disease. Don't get cancer. Ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So, but they changed it because now it sounds a little bit more generic to say accidents. So that could mean that you tripped and hit your head. That could mean you had a car accident, but it doesn't, that's not what that is. Just know that. When you see that on this list of leading causes of death, that's the medical system. On this list is the 4th leading cause of death. So I just had to throw that in there since we're here. And then the rest of these statistics is all about cancer. And this is a list of preventable cancers. And the causes of preventable cancer, you can see smoking, obesity, alcohol, radiation, inactivity, poor diet. The standout on this list to me, and this is why I'm so glad that my sister has put forth the kind of effort that she has done to lose so much weight. The standout on this list to me is obesity. That's mind-boggling to me that right behind smoking, excess body weight is second on the list of preventable causes of cancer. You understand that? So that means if we have extra body weight, if we have pounds that we should be getting rid of, if we fall into the category of obese, we are on the list of second only to smoking of being complicit in having the second leading preventable cause of cancer. And that's something that we could do. And you notice the word is preventable. Preventable. And fortunately, Dr. Prasad has done something to help us with that. And if we forget to talk about it, somebody asked us about GLP-1 and how that could have an impact. But alcohol is number 3. UV radiation, also known as cell phones, is on the list. And then very, very sadly, physical inactivity is also on the list. But the most distressing of all is poor diet. So this list is, these are all things that we can do something about. Every single one of us has it in our control, except maybe the UV radiation, because nobody's going to give up their cell phone. And that's not a complaint, nor is it a dig. It's just a fact. I'm just, making a statement. Nobody's going to give it up. But we can stop smoking. We can do something about our weight. We can control alcohol consumption. We can do something about physical inactivity, and we can do something about our diet. And that's another reason why Bob arranged for this meeting today, is because this meeting really is not so much so about cancer as much as it is about the fact that somebody took the food out of food. So even if you're eating the best quality food, it's so deficient in nutritional value that it leaves us vulnerable. And that's why healthy people are still coming down with cancer today. The most common treatment options for cancer: surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, targeted therapy, immunotherapy, and so on. But all of those treatments come with side effects: nausea, vomiting, extreme fatigue, hair loss, compromised immune system, chemo brain, all of that. These are all just the common side effects of treatments for cancers, and very, very frustrating. The one that has probably the least problematic is a new thing they come up with, immunotherapy. So even conventional medicine has decided to invoke the power of the immune system in fighting cancer. We've been talking about the immune system being the key to fighting cancer for decades. But now, since they found a way to monetize it, they've come out and now let people know that immunotherapies can also be used to treat cancer. But you can do something. You can kick your own immune system in. So it was the intensive care nurse that had nothing to offer back when my mom died 20 years ago. But now, because of this man, we have a way to kick our immune system in. We can be our own immunotherapy. We can do something to make our immune system work for us. It's in your hands. You have the power. Dr. Prasad is the one that did it. And you heard Jeff mention Dr. Prasad because we owe a debt of gratitude to this man as well. He was the world's first radiation biology PhD. So that's it. And he's the patent that Jeff referenced. That all started with this man right here. He did work for the United States military, NASA, and the Congress paid millions of dollars for his research. This is the man who scientifically discovered that vitamin E succinate is an anti-cancer agent. So first of all, I didn't even know that there was more than one type of vitamin E. Personally, with all the research that I've been doing, I never paid any attention to it. But turns out vitamin E succinate is one of 6 or 7 types of vitamin E. And then it just so happens that this particular one happens to be cytotoxic to cancer. and this is the gentleman who figured it out, Dr. Prasad. He's the one who figured it out. And so he's credited with that discovery. So it's a brilliant man, which you should say to yourself, I wonder which vitamin E he put in his formula. I wonder. Well, you should be very thankful that he's wise enough to put this one and another form of vitamin E in his formula. But he also discovered that this small fermentation of this from bacteria in the gut has an anti-cancer properties also. Dr. Prasad is the one that figured this out. Brilliant man. So he knows something about the human body. And because he was a professor at the University of Colorado for some 30 years, he knows a lot about medicine. He knows a lot about the gut and the way the gut works. So those are all clues to why we respect and trust this man. He was also so well recognized and respected that he was invited to be on the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee and candidates of medicine. He has been authoring papers and books now, and he's 90 years old, and he's still hard at work, publishing papers and writing books. That's how much he knows about anti-aging. He is anti-aging embodied. He's the embodiment of anti-aging in and of itself. So we're very fortunate to have access to this man and the research that he's done. So I'm going to relate to you maybe 1 or 2 cancer stories real quick, and then Jeff will have a testimonial that he'll share that will well illustrate the power of this amazing formulas. Remember now, you just saw the disclaimer, right? We're not making any claims that these products will treat or cure disease. So that's why we make sure that you can see that very clearly. So, and then this next story, this is a true story. And I'm not sure if Beth is on the meeting right now or not, but Beth was the one that shared this with us. This is one of her customers. And you can see the picture on the left there. This is August 2023, where this gentleman had basal cell carcinoma. And he was receiving radiation treatments, 30-some treatments, rounds of radiation to try to stop the basal cell carcinoma. He was told he was probably going to lose his eye. That's how close it was to his eye, so that was done. He heard about Dr. Prasad's formulas, and on November 2023, not only did he still have his eye, somehow or another, he no longer had the cancer on his face. And you can barely tell where it was. Isn't it interesting that September, October to November, that's like 3 months later, um, he still has the same hair he started with on his face. So he got slammed with 33 rounds of radiation, and he didn't suffer any side effects from it. But Beth told us that he started his treatment of Dr. Prasad's formulas before he began the chemo. And this story right here is a woman down in Ecuador. And if you look at this very carefully with the arrows pointing to the official diagnosis, this is the official paper, medical diagnosis right there, melanoma. And I'm going to show you another open wound. I apologize, I didn't tell you about the last wound there beforehand, because if you're squeamish, you may not want to look at this. But this woman has melanoma diagnosed by her doctor on her foot. And here's what it looked like. This is the next picture. So look away if you don't want to see it. And she did a lot of volunteer work down there in Ecuador. So she's going up and down hills all the time. You know, so Ecuadorians, they're not like Americans where everybody's got a car. Everybody in the house has a car. You know, down there, maybe one or two people on the block have a car. So it's everything by foot. So her entire life now has changed because she has this melanoma on the bottom of her foot. The doctor just wanted to just, you know, take it off, just whack it off, just take the whole foot off. That was the recommendation from the doctors. But she heard about Dr. Prasad's formulas from another gentleman down there, another volunteer who happened to be connected to us over here in the States, who we told about Dr. Prasad's formulas. So she got a hold of it, and look at the date, okay? April 18th. So 1 year ago, about 4 days ago, 5 days ago, okay? 1 year ago, that's when this picture was taken. And the people taking these pictures, by this is not AI generated. These are all real pictures. I know the people personally, so I know them to be trustworthy, honest people of integrity. So this is not fabricated in some way. So this is reality. So April the 18th, 2024, last year. Now look at this, 4 days later, April the 22nd, okay? Now you'll notice this area right here is the same as this area right here. That's a hole. And right in where the white is, that's necrosis beginning. All this white stuff you see is necrosis. This is all becoming necrotic. That's rotting flesh, dying flesh. Okay, and I'm not saying that. Dr. Prasad said that. I'm relating to you what Dr. Prasad and his professional observation is. That was the beginning of necrosis. Look at this. It's starting to dry up. It's healing. That's turning into a scab. All of this that was becoming necrotic, all of this is drying up. Now it's just looking like, again, it's becoming a scab. That's just 4 days later. But wait, there's more. This is just another 6 days later, April the 28th. You can barely tell that there was a hole in this woman's foot. By this time, she's running up and down the stairs, and she's feeling great. She's no more pain. She got her life back, and she still got her foot right where it was when she started this whole thing. That's just 6 days later. So, I mean, I've had this kind of skin on my heel. You just peel it off and it's gone, right? This kind of flesh here, this little dead skin, and it's gone. And just a couple of days later, this is May the 2nd. May the 2nd, same year. So just less than 2 weeks time, she went from they're ready to amputate to she's still got her foot and in total control. This is the part right here that was that black part, right? And then this is the part here that was the bigger part of the wound. All healed up. So that's all we can say. There it is. There's before on the left, April the 18th, and then on the right, May the 1st. She's fine. The doctor couldn't believe it, and she to this day still has all of her body parts. So it was kind of amazing to see that take place. So I'm going to stop right here because I know Jeff's got a doozy to share with us now. So that story there about Iris too is also very interesting. You know, so but we can go on and on and on and tell you story after story. And that's why that presentation was primarily about, about cancer. And that's the reason why I shared that with you, so you could see that. And that at that presentation, at that time, that was what we were discussing and talking about with folks. So let's go ahead and just share with you maybe another story or two. See Jeff. I don't see Jeff. Jeff must have had to go off on an emergency, so he got booted out somehow. So he's not here with us right now. So let me see if there's any questions first, because I'm going to share another testimonial with you. So if anyone would like to now ask any questions about what you've heard, if you're curious about something, about what we're talking about thus far, then now is the time to raise your question. So go ahead. Try to make that easy for you, set that up for you. And you can unmute yourself too. If you can't raise your hand, just unmute yourself and shout it out. Feel free. Okay, so no questions. All right, well, that's good. That's good. I'm not complaining. But normally we get overwhelmed by these questions. Okay, Bob, you must have an answer. Hold on, Bob. Let Belinda make her statement here first, and then we'll come back to you, Bob. Go ahead, Belinda. You can't unmute yourself. That's why nobody can just shout anything out, because I changed the settings earlier because somebody's mic kept opening back up again, and automatically opening up, it seemed. So anyway, go ahead, Belinda.
Yes, great presentation on today thus far, and that is just so phenomenal that this lady was on the verge of having to get her foot cut off. And within 2 to 3 weeks, the micro daily taking a therapeutic dose was able to help her out and to save her foot. That's truly, truly phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for your feedback there. And Jenny, did you have a question?
I did have a question, but I just heard the comment that was just made. And I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's name, but she said that the woman with cancer took a therapeutic dose, and that's what I wanted to confirm.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for requesting the clarification. And that's exactly what she took. And for some people, a therapeutic dose, it's of course a very high dose. And the reason for that is because Dr. Prasad's research indicate that glucose and glutamine are absolutely necessary. That's part of what Dr. Prasad's research showed, was that you have to have, the cancer has to have glucose and glutamine. It must have glucose and glutamine, no question about it. And high doses of antioxidants cuts off, blocks the uptake of glucose and glutamine. And that's why when taking high doses of Dr. Prasad's formulas, that basically supplies the what's needed to cause the cancer to pretty much starve. And that's what happened in her case. Now, her response was pretty dramatic. Now, if you're wondering exactly what a therapeutic dose is, you can take a screenshot of this picture if you'd like. And this kind of gives you a little bit of an idea as to the amounts that a person would want to take. So you can take a screenshot of this, and it kind of gives you an idea. The standard dose is in the one column. Then there's a chronic person with a chronic issue, approximately how much they would take. A therapeutic dose is in the third column, which is the fourth column. And then if a person is dealing with something like abnormal cells, then they would take three times the normal amount 3 times a day. So that just gives you an idea of that. So you can feel free to take a snapshot of that if you like. Okay, so thank you, Jenny, for your question.
You took it down too fast. I didn't get my snapshot.
Took it down too fast.
Yeah,
Snooze, you lose.
I know. I was just trying to get my camera ready.
All right. So anyone can, of course, get access to the recording. This is all on my YouTube channel, youtube.com.
Okay.
Jonathan Jones. You can always go back to it
All right.
and do a freeze frame too. Okay, so it is available there. All right, anyone else that has a question? No more question. Okay, good. Did I tell you what I'll do? There's an interesting story since diabetes was just so close to was such a major issue for me. I hope you guys don't mind. I'd like to just share at least one or two of these diabetes stories. And you'll find it also very, very interesting. Let's see here. Let's see, I have so many of them. You know what? How about this one here, Martha Lawrence? And it's only a few minutes long, but let's just see if we can't get Martha Lawrence's story, because she has family members that benefited from taking microdaily, and she personally had benefits also. And then
now since about April. And yes, my A1C, I was considered pre-diabetic, and my A1C has dropped tremendously. And also, my brother in Virginia, he's diabetic very bad. He takes the insulin and 10 other medications. And what I did, I sent him 4 bottles of Micro Daily, and I told him to take it 2 times a day. And he's been taking it now for about the last, I guess, 6 weeks. Well, anyway, another brother of mine called and asked me, what did you send Robert Van? So I told him some supplements, Micro Daily. He says, he looks good. He says, before he was like dying right before our eyes. His skin was dried out. He was just looked so unhealthy, and he had lost so much weight. He says now he's like a flower that was dying and was watered, and he has come back to life. So even Robert Van told me, he called and he says, I feel better. He says, I'm picking up weight. He says, and I have an overall feeling of healthiness. But anyway, I told him not to stop taking his medications, to wait until he go and, to see his doctor, take his blood work and let the doctor take him off of his medications. So far, so good. He's doing much, much better. And I just wanted to let you know that Micro Daily did it.
Okay, I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause right there with that story on from Martha Lawrence. She goes on to talk about herself. I still remember the day she called up, and one day she called and she said, "Is this stuff supposed to work that fast?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I just started taking it a couple days ago," and she said, "I woke up and I could move my fingers." She says that on this video, by the way, on that recording. She says, "I could move my fingers." And she says, "I was like a little kid looking at my hands because I had not been able to move my fingers like that in years." And she just didn't believe that it happened that fast. So, folks, it's just tragic that that what we have basically is something so simple and yet so powerful. They took the food out of food, and Dr. Prasad has given us the ability to get it back and to get it back again. Go ahead, Sylvia.
Hi, I wanted to say I bought the GLP-1 and I am struggling with my diabetes. My A1C is probably a 9 right now. But I'm struggling to find out how I can work the GLP-1 because I know I'm supposed to take it half hour before my meal. And I stopped taking Microdaily a long time ago. I just ran out. But I'm on Monjaro. On the 5th day that I'm off of it, I try the GLP-1 and I'm still sky high in the high 300s. I don't know how to address that.
Did you say so? The Monjaro and Ozempic was bringing your A1C down?
No, it worked for a little bit, but then it started giving me horrible side effects. I have real bad neuropathy. I started falling, and my hands are asleep now, and my left foot doesn't fit into any shoes. I'm really struggling.
Okay. Well, the way that Ozempic and Monjaro work, they call them semaglutides.
Mhm.
So they mimic GLP-1 in the body. And that's a natural hormone that our body produces. Dr. Prasad's formula, GLP-1 Boost, causes your body to make its own GLP-1 and GIP naturally, which signals to the brain that you're satisfied. It also slows down the movement of food out of the stomach. Doesn't stop it, just slows it down a little bit. So it gives us the feeling of satiety a little bit earlier so that we reduce how much food we eat. In your case, that process by itself is insufficient. So insulin resistance can be a problem. It's a real problem. And that's precipitated, of course, by oxidative stress. So if we're rusting inside our body, imagine, we went on vacation, we stayed away for a month or 2 months, a year. We come back to the house, we try to put the key in our door, and the key won't go in because the lock has got some rust on it. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense for you to go to Home Depot and get another key cut. The key won't go in the lock.
Right.
So you got to get the rust off the lock. And that's how it is inside the body when it comes to diabetes. If we're insulin resistant, it's caused by oxidative stress. So imagine this being an insulin receptor. Insulin needs to come and pop right into that location, but it's already filled up with rust or oxidation. So to beat the rust off, it takes high doses of antioxidants microdaily. So if you were to take like the chronic dose, like double doses of microdaily, take the probiotic boost. And in fact, if you do the whole core 4, it would be your best option, but with an additional dose of microdaily. And the reason why the entire core 4 would be beneficial is because Dr. Prasad did some research and found out that guess what omega-3 does? Omega-3 is almost like a master key to the cells.
Oh my.
It literally is like the back door to the cells.
Okay.
Insulin is like the front door. It's the key to the front door. Omega-3 is like the key to the back door.
Wow.
It literally turns and tells these cells, open up and let glucose in.
Okay.
So omega-3, independent of the presence or absence of insulin, which is mind-boggling to me. So now you get 2 for the price of 1. And that's part of the core 4. Then the collagen peptide activates or blocks something called DPP4. That's another enzyme that creates a problem for diabetics. There's a pharmaceutical drug that's a DPP4 inhibitor. Collagen peptide does it naturally.
Wow.
So you got A, B, C, D, and E. You do the GLP-1 core 4, all helping to manage diabetes, especially when it's type 2. And type 1, they'll just use less insulin. They take less insulin to do the same job. So that would be the way to go. The probiotic boost is extremely important because every disease has a fingerprint in our gut. And that's intestinal dysbiosis. Every disease, including diabetes. So if you can put the right bacteria in the gut, that starts to change the whole presence of whatever is going on in our body and put the bacteria in the gut in a favorable direction for you.
Wow.
So highly recommend the GLP Core 4 and 1 extra dose of original microdaily.
So does that mean instead of 2, it's 4?
Correct.
2 times a day.
Correct.
Thank you so much. And I have one additional question. My roommate, she had the gastric bypass done several years ago. I would have to say 10 years ago. and she cannot stop vomiting. Everything that comes in goes straight out the same way it came. And it just so sad to watch the doctors try everything and they cannot get that to stop.
Yeah, her gut is completely messed up. Her bacteria is completely off. That's the epitome of intestinal dysbiosis right there. So what would help her would be a GLP, not GLP-1, but the Dr. Prasad's probiotic boost. And if she starts losing it, what she should do is just take and open the capsules up and start putting some of it under her tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And if whatever she can swallow, just always include some of the probiotic with it if something does stay down. And the highest quality bovine colostrum that she can find would start to correct the intestinal, her microbiome.
Wow.
The highest quality bovine colostrum that she can find. The best one that I found is called ImmuneRx. And its company's AmerixBio.com. AmerixBio, AmerixBio.com.
I need to be writing this down while I listen to it on the video.
Yeah, it's on the recording.
Yes.
So that's the best one that I found. It's called ImmuneRx.
ImmuneRx, okay.
High quality bovine colostrum, and it's been phenomenal is what I've seen. That's one of the things that solved my wife's gut problems with the allergies and everything.
Okay.
That's what put us in the right direction for it. So it's unfortunate, but the reason why she's vomiting like that is because nothing's going through her gut fast enough.
Wow.
And what's down there hasn't moved, and the bacteria is just completely out of whack.
Wow.
Small intestinal bacteria overload, and her gut, just total dysbiosis. Okay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions, Sylvia. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so those kinds of questions are very useful and very helpful for us. Karen Jenkins, go ahead.
Yes, I have someone who's on the EMF and the brain boost and the probiotics. But however, about a week ago, she got extremely sick. She's a diabetic. She got extremely sick. Her husband took her to an urgent care. They determined that she had food poisoning. And so she threw up for 3 or 4 days and went through the whole situation. But however, what do you recommend that I recommend to her to add on to her EMF? She's on the EMF capsule as well as the probiotic.
I would quadruple the probiotic.
Okay.
Yeah, her gut is her gut again is just completely messed up.
Okay.
And so she's totally out of whack. If she can get a hold of some colostrum also, that would be very good. But I would start very simple with bumping up the probiotic boost, because there's a particular bacteria in Dr. Prasad's formula that just so happens to be pretty good with things like bad bacteria, killing it off. So I just put it that way.
And I told her as well, I said, I can't imagine what would have happened if you had not been on the EMF.
Exactly. Yeah. The botulism is there's nothing comfortable about that whatsoever. She's got to get her electrolytes back in too, by the way.
Okay.
So hopefully she's doing that. But I would take like 4 capsules of probiotic boost maybe twice a day for a couple of days.
Okay.
And get as many good bacteria in there as possible. But I would be chasing it with something for electrolytes. Coconut water, fresh coconut water. I think Smart Water has electrolytes in it, not a whole lot, but it's got some in it. Gatorade's got some electrolytes in it, things like that.
Okay.
Coconut water is probably the best source of electrolytes. That would help her a great deal.
All right. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. Good question, Karen. Appreciate it. And go ahead, Bob. We didn't get back to you before.
Yes, what someone wanted to know about weight loss and of course pain. I mean, how they suffer from chronic pain. How they want to find out how they could treat that. I mean, what could help with that?
Chronic pain. You said weight loss and chronic pain, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Weight loss is not I'm not going to tell anybody that weight loss is easy. A person, my personal opinion, based on my observations over the years, is that you got to have a reason. And so if you got a good why, you'll lose weight. So it starts with a good why. And then you got to have a good plan. And then you got to have a good product. So if your why is what we mentioned earlier, that it's the second leading preventable cause of cancer, that's a pretty good why. And it's shaving years off your life, having the extra body weight, that's a pretty good why. And then the plan should include correct micronutrients in the body, first of all, because, by the way, as you lose weight, as you're packing, as the body is storing weight, it's also storing tons of toxins. So the fat that we have on our body is toxic fat. So as we start losing weight and burning up that fat as fuel, we're also releasing toxins. So to take the edge off of being sick while losing weight, you got to be doing, I would suggest the chronic level of micro daily, chronic level. So that means more than just what a healthy 20-year-old soldier on the battlefield would be taking, at least double doses. That's just, again, my opinion. And I'm going to repeat to everybody, I'm not a doctor. I'm a researcher, health educator. Don't do anything I say because I say it. I'm just giving you my personal opinion on things based off research and my observations. Talk to your doctor. You want medical advice. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm giving education. Then the GLP-1 Boost is a phenomenal way to help with that process, because the GLP-1 Boost will do what we just talked to Sylvia about a moment ago. It sends a signal, tells you your body will make the GLP and the GIP first. It's going to help all those other organs in the body get stronger also, but it sends a signal to the brain that you've had enough food to eat. And if you make sure, even if a person is obese, they need to be eating something fatty. So I'm not recommending bacon, but that's my personal choice. And so don't laugh at me. I'm not apologetic about it. It's my personal choice. But eat something fatty. Avocado is fatty. Pecans are fatty, so something like that, because you have to have something fatty to break down the fat soluble fibers in microdaily, first of all. So instead of saying, well, I'm just gonna swallow a fistful of microdaily and starve myself because GLP-1 is going to make me feel satisfied and microdaily is going to give me all the nutrients I need, you still got to have something fatty in that gut to break down those fat soluble fibers. Fat soluble components of microdaily. So you got to have something in there. A little yogurt, little cheese, something. It's got to be something fat soluble so that your body can now break down the fat soluble components of microdaily. And then as the body starts to use, and by the way, that fatty component that y'all was laughing about, that fatty component sends a message to the liver that food is plentiful. See, fat signals that to the liver. There's a switch in the liver that's either this way, and if it's this way, it's like store food, store fat, because this food trying to kill me, starving me to death. So store for a rainy day. But when fat's available, the switch goes like this, and it lets the fat out. It burns the fat reserves because now the liver says, oh, food's plentiful. Whenever there's fat around, that tells the liver food is plentiful. And it starts to release from the fat reserves. And as it releases from the fat reserves, that's what burns the fuel. So you actually can now survive on lower calories. You can actually live on lower calories. Now your body, instead of storing it away, is using it, and it'll do it slow. It's slow. Now, some people start complaining. We've been hearing all kinds of complaints about people saying, "Oh, I've been on GLP-1, but the scale is going up, but my clothes falling off me." Well, that should tell you something. So if your size goes down, what's that telling you? Yeah, you're using up fat reserves and you're building up muscle. Muscle is heavier than fat. So don't be surprised if you don't lose weight on GLP-1. You could be 2 or 3 months before you start losing weight, but your clothes will start fitting thinner. Your shape will start to change. My pants been falling off me. I haven't lost a pound. Well, I did initially, but something's happening. But your body will now start to feed muscle. So just be patient with that, and give that time. And if a person has a huge amount of weight, like my sister's lost 82 pounds, that's been over the course of about 1.5 years. And she didn't have GLP-1 at the time. She had no access to GLP-1. She stopped putting garbage in her mouth, and she started working with her body to do that. And she's determined because she has a why. My sister has a why, and very proud of what she's doing. She's beautiful. Unbelievable how my sister is turning her situation around. So very happy about that. Hope that answers your question, Bob. Sorry to take the long way around the track.
That's fine. I'm enjoying it.
To get to that. Okay, very good. So just to wrap up our discussion, I'm just going to show you guys a couple quick screenshots. And these quick screenshots is just so you know, the last question that needs to be answered is how and what do I do? Okay, I know that's a compound question, but that was a how with a comma and a what do I do? So talk to the person who invited you here, but they'll tell you about Micro Daily. That's what we've been talking about. And they'll give you some of the details about it. This is the probiotic that Dr. Prasad formulated. This is the omega-3. That's the key to the back door. This is the collagen peptide. And let me tell you something, folks, and this is another one of his patented products. Every single thing this man has touched is just off the Richter scale good. I've been studying this kind of stuff now for close to 40 years, 35 years or so. And I've always been looking for something that was simple and easy to use and affordable. And finally found it. If you're having problems digesting stuff, and people who are complaining about, say, nausea after they eat, when they're taking the GLP-1 boost, and even the woman with the gastric bypass, drop 1 or 2 of these down there also, because the food that's in her stomach, she maybe even take a half of one of these capsules before she eats. And this will, maybe just after she eats, as a matter of fact, this will help to digest what's in that small stomach pocket that she's got. This will help break it down. This is the way to go. So, and as we get older, we have more trouble digesting food. So take one of those ahead of time. And Brain Boost has been like a godsend for me. Boy, I take 2 of those puppies in the morning, man. It's like a double shot of espresso. So love it. And Sleep Boost, this will put you in a coma, especially if you combine it with CBD Boost. I don't mean a literal coma, so let me just make sure that that's clear, because, don't y'all go away from here saying, stay away from Sleep Boost because it'll put you in a coma. You don't want to do that. That's wrong. No, I was just being extreme and facetious. That means deep sleep. That's just an expression, a metaphor. Okay, so, and the CBD Boost, this is incredible. I take 2 of these every night. And beautiful, wonderful. So this is the best deal on the planet. If you bought every one of these items retail, it costs you over $300. But Engage Global is the company that you want to get it from. And they subsidize it. Even wholesale would be $250. But you can buy it as a bundle for $200. So that's the way to go. You can then add to that the Brain Boost and any of the other boost items afterwards. And if you can't afford the entire Core 4, then this is the alternate way to go. This is the basic bundle right here. So that's $110. That's the minimum that you want to get to get yourself started. If that's the best you can do, then do this. If you can do nothing else, do this and be patient. It's going to take you a little longer, potentially, if you've got a chronic problem, but do this and you find yourself, benefiting. And be patient. Take no less than 90 days to see the full effects of this in your system. Because however old you are, if you're like, I'm 63, just turned 63, and we didn't get where we are a month ago, a week ago, a couple of days ago, because people have said, oh man, I'm taking it, but it's not doing, I don't see no difference. Then stop taking it. You stop taking it, you'll see what it was doing for you. But it's going to take a minute before you really feel the full effects of it. Okay. So that was the presentation that we did for those two affiliates that wanted to present this to a group of folks. That was the core of it, was the getting a better outcome, particularly with cancer. You could see why. So we're not talking about, again, not talking about treating or curing cancer, not at all. But if a person is taking chemo or not taking it, or taking radiation or whatever other treatments that the doctor put them on, they actually could give themselves an increased chance of seeing good results if their immune system is working properly. And these products will help the immune system to improve the way that it operates. And so we're excited to be able to tell people that piece of information. Okay, so there you have it. All right, folks. So you get back with the person who invited you to this discussion and have a frank conversation with them about what you can do to improve your health, and maybe pass on to someone that you care about information that will help them. One final question here, Joyce.
Yes,
Looks like I got a couple questions. What in the world's going on here? Go ahead.
okay, but this is for the meeting later. Is there a phone number that can be called in to get in?
Yeah, actually, any Zoom phone number will do it.
Yeah, because I had tried one of my affiliates to get on this one, but she said she couldn't get in.
She couldn't get in. Okay. Well, we'll post it. I'll post that in the in WhatsApp with the whole phone number thing part of it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Wilma.
Okay, my one question, the digestive boost, how do you take that? Is it 30 minutes before you eat, while you're eating, after you eat? How do you take the digestive boost?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. But if you take it while you're eating, then it will help to start breaking down what's in your gut.
Okay, while you're eating. Okay.
Yeah. If you take it before, you eat, too early before you eat, you have a chance that it's not. See, because remember, it's like dropping teeth into your stomach. That's what. Just think of it that way. Think of the digestive boost as dropping teeth into your stomach.
Okay, yeah. Okay, it makes sense. Take it while you eat, because then it starts breaking down the food.
There you go. It'll do for you what most of us don't do for our food. We don't chew it enough.
Right.
We would not need digestive boost if we simply chewed our food till it was liquid.
Okay, and so it's okay to take it right along with the other, the micro daily, the eye boost, the heart boost. When you're taking all your others together, it's all right to take it with that.
No problem. There's not one single thing that Dr. Prasad makes that you can't take at the same time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Nothing at all. Go ahead, Horace. You got the last word. Thank you.
I was just going to tell her, take it 30 minutes before you eat and 30 minutes after you eat, and you will get the best results possible.
By experience. Okay.
That's what you've been finding, huh, Bob?
Well, with that, I sometimes, just after I eat, sometimes if I feel like I just chew one up, I swallow it. So that works.
Yep. That's it.
Anyway, I really thank you for this presentation. I really enjoyed it today.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for setting it up. You did good. Dolores, you got another comment there?
30 minutes before I eat, I take my digestive boost along with my GLP-1, and I get excellent results.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to argue with the results.
Good program. Enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. Good program.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all very much.